Hey guys, welcome to Comics Now. I'm Jordan and I'm here finally with Tom.
Hello there, gentlemen and lady folk.
And once again, a bit late. I've been trying to record this for like the last week, but I'm a terrible, terrible organizing person.
I'm just gonna blame Marvel for all of these problems,
Yep.
or AMD, like Ubisoft's trying to do right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to blame other people. It's not my fault that we missed like a week twice, but it's the end of the year. It's a busy time of year.
Exactly.
I don't even know what I've been doing. I've been playing Pokemon heaps at the moment because a new game just came out. So
Yeah, that's a whole freaking thing I want to get into. 3DS is down the track.
yeah,
That's craziness.
yeah, do it. Definitely do it. I literally I've got like most of the way through the game, and then I was just like, I've really rushed through this. I need to restart, and I've restarted and haven't touched it since. But yeah, anyways, back to actually what we're here for.
Exactly.
Comics and related stuff. Bit of news since last time last time you were here, definitely. First up on my list of things that I didn't even know about until I just found it before. You of course know Justice League Dark.
Yes.
Yep. There was rumors of a movie a long while back, and then when DC came out with their movie titles, it wasn't there, and everyone was a bit scared and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, when's the date on this? Like a couple of days ago, I can't even say his name.
Guillermo del Toro.
That fella. I struggle to say that word, but he's apparently finished the script, so it's in the works.
Excellent. Well, if he's helming it, I can't wait. He's got that great hand for that stuff, and I think it's a perfect match.
Yeah, well, he did like Pacific Rim, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So I'm very interested. It's got Swamp Thing, Constantine. I'm excited.
Well, he's done Hellboy, and he's proven himself to be
Yeah.
an absolute highest peak in that formula right there.
Yeah, exactly. On the same kind of thing, have you heard rumors about Constantine, the TV show, which I haven't even started watching yet, apparently is possibly going to get cancelled?
Whoa.
Like, I think it's just rumors, but it's like there's apparently really low ratings.
Wow, that's really sad. That series never... The movie was okay. I'm gonna give it...
I honestly, going into our, touching on our topic for the episode, I completely forgot the movie existed.
No offense, you and 99% of the world kind of did. It's serviceable.
Yeah.
It's like very much like Constantine, the only character that's ever aged with the series. I think he's like 61 in the books right now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but it's heartbreaking. It's honestly heartbreaking.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll last. I think it's people just overreacting. But the problem is, I believe it's on NBC, and apparently it's in their death slot. Like it's Friday night late. No one's gonna watch it type of thing.
Oh shit.
Which is like that's just dumb of them to put it there. Really, like
that's the kill zone. That's just like.
But I'm just hoping all like people saying this online and stuff will get people to watch. Because hey, if I was in the US and I could actually contribute to the ratings somehow, I would. But
Nielsen box in it.
Yeah, do a Peter Griffin and just get all of them.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm definitely interested in the show. I just haven't got around to watching it yet. I've been a bit too preoccupied with Flash and Arrow at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, X-Men Apocalypse has casting news. Apocalypse has been cast, and it's Oscar Isaac, who I've honestly never heard of, but apparently he's in the new Star Wars movie too. Like he's I've no word on who he's actually playing or whatever, but he's in it. So who knows? He could be good.
Well, yeah. Well, he seems like a kind of a fresh face to that scene.
Yeah. Well,
coming into it, I think he can really be a good character actor. If
he looks like, just at the picture I'm looking at right now, he looks kind of. I was going to say Middle Eastern, but not quite. But European, Middle Eastern. He looks foreign to me.
Yeah.
And I guess Apocalypse is going to be Apocalypse is going to have heavy makeup or whatever, so it's not a huge deal. But he looks cool. I'm not opposed to that or anything.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. In other news, I'm jumping. I'm taking over the news reins.
Go for it.
If you're a wrestling fan, ladies and gentlemen, I've got some news. CM Punk, also known as Phil Brooks, will be heading the first story in Thor Annual #1.
I did hear that. I was kind of intrigued by that.
Yeah, Phil has left the WWE. If you want more information on that, check out Art of Wrestling, the podcast hosted by Colt Cabana, for the full story of what happened in that scenario. Short story: bad health, and mistreatment by Phil. So he's gotten there. He's been working with the Nerdist recently.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's a big comic books fan. He was actually in some WWE themed comic books. Which they are actually quite good comparatively. They are quite good. But yes, he was heading the first story, and the second story will be headed by I believe what is her name? I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it too. I had that in my memory, and it's gone.
But yeah, it's not exactly headed by Phil, but Phil's writing the first one, and I think I want to see what he does there. I'm gonna honestly see what he does there. It seems like some open territory. It's still with the first female. Sorry, it's with the female Thor, I believe, in this one.
Yeah.
So
it could be either one because I haven't actually read any of the current run of Thor, but I believe female Thor and male Thor are both like part of the story. So
yeah. So actually, the second story will be written by Noel Stevenson.
Oh yeah, I know that name somehow.
Yeah, it's in the mix, but yeah,
it's in my brain.
Very much so. But yeah, I'm a personal big fan of the WWE and just wrestling in general. I feel like Phil's got that sensibility going into this comic book, so we might be seeing something a little bit more different, but it's not going to be like Daddy's first comic book, you know.
If Marvel said, "Hey, you can do this," obviously he's good. Like he has the ability to do it. They're not just going to get anyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
But in saying that, they could just be doing it because, like, hey, this guy's famous. He'll get some people to buy it.
That's still a thing that could happen. So it's only time will tell. And that's coming out in I believe in January.
Yeah. Yes. I can't remember. I had that in front of me, but now it's gone.
That's all right. But yeah, it's coming in the next year. Yeah, no, actually February. My apologies, February 2015. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
That's pretty cool. What else is there? Supergirl. Have you heard the rumors about the Supergirl show?
Oh no.
Apparently, who was it? CBS, was CBS the ones that had Constantine? I said it just before. I'm pretty sure. That was NBC. I don't know. I don't know American channels.
That's right.
But yes, apparently it's a Supergirl show. They're changing the origin or whatever a bit so that it's more closer to Superman's origin. Mm-hmm. Like instead of her coming to Earth as an adult, she comes as a kid and grows up somewhere and whatever. But apparently they're doing that. And the Supergirl show, I can imagine similar to Smallville or whatever, but with a girl. Apparently Jimmy Olsen is going to be like her friend. So it's kind of mixing up the continuity or whatever. But despite being on a different network, they're saying that there is the possibility of it being like in the same universe as Arrow and Flash. So
whoa,
that could be interesting.
That's badass.
I like considering different channels. I don't know about crossovers and whatever, but they would definitely be referencing each other and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
That could lead up to some really good opportunities. And
there's already rumors and stuff about like the whole Arrowverse building its own kind of Justice League and whatever, and with the Flash Arrow crossover coming up, all this kind of stuff. It kind of looks like it. And then there's this, which who knows? Because obviously I can imagine they're not allowed to use Superman, so why not just use Supergirl and put her in the same role, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's a good way of broadening every show in that scenario, and plus, it's only going to bring crossover with viewers. So if somebody's not sure, it's like, oh well, he's going to be in there in that episode. Oh, I gotta check it out then.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. There was rumors of this what is it, the Titans show, also on a different network that apparently might be set in the same universe, all that kind of stuff. But that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on from that, did you see the entire plot synopsis of Fantastic Four got leaked?
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't want to read it, but I thought stuff, and I'm probably not seeing the movie anyway.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I don't. Should we say it?
I'm gonna reveal a few things to you just for fun. But obviously spoilers and stuff here. But
Okay, here we go.
for one,
No, Jordan, actually, hold on, I got this.
yeah.
All right, there will be a blank in the next couple seconds telling you what time to skip to.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, so a little bit
If I can be bothered putting it in, we'll just say that.
that's all right. There's a skip, and we'll just cut out of that. So here's the
deal.
blank.
Skip to about 13 and a half. Bam.
Bam. All right, let's spoil time, baby.
Okay. Well, for one, Doctor Doom is not Doctor Doom. His name is just Doom.
What?
And also his name is not Victor Von Doom. It's Victor Domashev or something.
Oh,
And he's going to be like a blogger, like a
oh, fuck off.
yeah, no, like what is it? An activist type blogger or whatever. Apparently, fuck, I can't even remember it. I should have it in front of me, but I just don't want to look at it.
Oh.
But basically, yeah, all the team, like the actual Fantastic Four, are younger. Ben Grimm can transform into the thing instead of being stuck as it. But apparently at the end, he kind of is stuck at it, kind of like in Fantastic, like the old movie where he cures himself and then uncures himself to save them, type thing.
Yeah.
Which was dumb. And then so there's that, and then what else was there? I don't know if I mentioned it before, but apparently Sue Storm is the adopted one, not Johnny Storm. So that, like, as we thought, because he was black.
Yeah.
So it's a black family with her in it, which it makes sense and kind of makes me feel racist for thinking otherwise. So there's that, and then fuck, I can't even remember it, but basically, they get their powers from some accident because of the Storm's parents or whatever are scientists or something. So they kind of, I don't know, it just seems dumb.
That sounds immensely dumb. Fucking turning Doctor Doom,
but
a hardened villain from a country, into a fucking blogger who sounds like a person who you bump on the bus on.
Yeah, but apparently he then seeks out something to get powers or some bull crap. But it just seems like I understand why they did it, because as I've said multiple times, I'm not the hugest fan of the Fantastic Four's stories, but they've just I feel like they've gone too far with it.
I feel like they've just butchered the source material, honestly. It's just it's so the actual terminology is chopping the stuff. I was like, nah, you know what, that'll work. Brr.
Yeah.
Had they done it, I wish they had gone all the way with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know. But well, that's enough on that.
That's enough on that.
1 second. So, but then also going off that, I don't know if you saw, but apparently in The Punisher issue 12, I didn't really read into it, but the headline of the thing I saw was hilarious. It says, Marvel blows up Fantastic Four cast in The Punisher 12. I'll click on that and see what it actually said. I remember reading a little bit of it, but apparently it's just funny. There's a panel in Punisher 12 where there's characters that look like the cast of the Fantastic Four movie that we were just talking about. And they're sitting around talking. One of them's wearing a Fantastic Four shirt. Apparently there's a character who is they've got similar names. There's the director they call him Trang, which is like Josh Trank, who's the guy. And then there's a guy called Mike, which is Michael B. Jordan, which is Johnny Storm. Mm-hmm. So they allude to them being that character, and then they're in a building or something, and then the building gets blown up. And I'm just like, what the hell?
Well,
it's just adding to that whole big thing about them apparently being shitty at each other.
Wow. It is a massive shit show on this one, apparently.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. I love it. But that's some infighting that I want to see. That's That's only interesting. Like, what? Why is he so? Why is? Oh my god! What the hell happened?
I know it's funny, but oh well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just thought that was a little funny thing. Also, just another article I saw today, which I thought was already like confirmed, but a new article popped up saying from James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, saying that Nova is definitely not going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I'm pretty sure I remember hearing him say that like the day that Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Yet it's all over the news.
Yeah, that's odd. I didn't he. Frick.
Yeah, because he said I remember him saying he doesn't want any other human characters in it. Especially for that one, because they want Star-Lord to be the sole human character, which makes sense.
That rolls out. Yeah.
Yeah, but also in saying that, I was reading the article, and the person that wrote it had no idea, because they halfway through it, they seemed to be talking about Adam Warlock all of a sudden. Like, they obviously just have no idea about the characters, which is funny, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, that means it rules out any cameo appearance by the Avengers.
Yeah, well, that's also they recently said that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will not necessarily lead up to Infinity War. Like it won't add to the story or anything, which makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't think it needs to. I think that kind of adds to the idea of them kind of teaming up in Infinity War Part 2, just so that, yeah.
Well, that's really surprising that there won't be any like build up. It
seems weird because like it can come that way, but I think because they've got Captain Marvel coming out in between the two Avengers movies, I think it'll make a bit more sense there.
Yeah, I think just we're so used to every comic book movie having like bits and pieces from other ones.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a little thing like there'll be an Infinity Stone, or there'll be like a mention of something. Because I'm sure that Kevin Feige will tell him to put it in there, but the main story will not lead up to it, I think is his idea.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which is, yeah. Did you see the Jurassic World trailer?
Yes, I did.
What do you think?
I like Chris Pratt, but I'm not sure how the entire thing's going to handle.
I watched it again just before, and like I'm excited for it. I've told anyone that's asked me, I say I'm optimistically cautious. Because I hope it's good, and the trailer looks good up until that little bit at the end where he's riding the motorbikes with the raptors.
Yeah, he didn't even notice a single raptor near him. That was a bit odd.
I've heard people saying that it's because like the idea is that they've bred that at they've made this new dinosaur or whatever, but then all the other ones they've kind of like calmed them down, which makes sense. It's a theme park, that's what you would do. But I think that scene just looked like that shot just looked really weird. With the rest of it.
Yeah, it just looked like some animator had just gotten footage of Chris Pratt riding a motorcycle and put raptors near him.
Yeah, which obviously that's what they did, but...
Yeah, no, like without any context.
Yeah.
Like, the weirdest part was, it wasn't originally a genetically modified dinosaur. It was a hybrid between a human and a dinosaur.
I remember hearing that ages ago, and I completely forgot. And then I saw pictures popping up online of about the other day. I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't do that.
That's nightmarish.
Something really funny about Jurassic World. Actually, I don't know if I should be saying this, but one of my friends was just in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago, and they finished filming there a while back or whatever. But all the sets and stuff are still over there, and he actually broke into the D-Rex pen.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's saying it's crazy because like they have at wherever he was, they have all the like it's like kind of like a theme parky thing there, I assume. But he was asking the guys like, "Hey, can I look at that?" And the guy's like, "No chance." But then apparently the guy was like, "Yeah, you're not allowed there." But like people get there, like just kind of hinting to him, and like apparently like had his number or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, so have you been up there?" He's like, "No, I haven't been up there." So then my friend goes out there. He apparently had to there's like fences and stuff blocking it off. So he got up on this bridge and then had to like drop down 2 meters into a creek, walk down this creek, and then there was like a forest that he had to get through and all this shit. And then he ends up at this big the big pens that they have in the movie.
Yeah.
And he said he like walks up to the wall and you just see big scratch marks and shit.
Oh.
And this is a guy that's like obsessed with Jurassic Park movies, so he was like in heaven.
Oh man.
But yeah, so crazy. And then he texted the guy that told him about it, and he's like, dude, he's like, dude, I'm here, and the guy was like, dude, how awesome is it? So obviously he had been there.
All right, just for legal reasons, this might be a hypothetical story.
Oh yeah, I just made all that up totally.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm like that's the thing. I'm excited for it just because, like, Jurassic Park's obviously a movie that we've like grown up with and stuff. So it could I'm hoping it's good, and like Chris Pratt's awesome, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like I know a lot of people have been talking shit on the trailer and stuff, and yeah, I can understand why it might not be good.
Yeah, I could definitely see the fact that it's easy to fail in that scenario, but
yeah,
I don't see any other context outside that, so I'm not really ready to judge it how shit it was. Even though that final clip was like, wow, that was not to leave it on. That was
But I'm hoping that, like I said to my friend, because we were talking about it, I'm like, there is all this weird stuff that they're putting in there, but I hope it's just not out of the blue. I hope they actually explain it.
Yeah. Like, if they give it like some proper context, and you know,
if they say, if say that thing with the raptors or whatever, if they just don't mention why the hell those raptors didn't just rip his head off, then I'll be like, why didn't they just rip his head off? But if they say when they're talking about, in the start of the movie, there might be like a tour guide or something being like, and we bred all the ferocity out of these guys or some bullcrap.
Yeah, bred the aggression out of them.
Yeah, as long as they say that, I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm on board.
If they give good, if they build the world up so much that the plot holes are really like disguised,
yeah,
I'm really happy.
As long as everything's believable in the context of that universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, yeah, you never know. But hey, it looks cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the news. I'm sure there is other news related to anything, but
yeah. We'll leave that for another time. Or it might get some more information. Maybe we purposely hit it. There we go.
Oh, actually, one sec. I'll just click this one link and see if I can find anything else.
No problem.
Jurassic World. Yep. That's pretty much it. But before we get into anything else, have you been watching? Have you watched the Flash or Arrow recently?
No, I have been meaning to catch up. What's been happening?
I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's awesome. But I've just fallen in love with the Flash again. It's just so good.
Oh man, if you're on the edge of watching that series, I honestly have to say, watch the first episode. Well, actually, no, watch the first three. Watch the first three.
Yeah. I'll admit the first episode was good, but it kind of made me I would still be skeptical after watching that.
Yeah, so I would say sit down with some friends and watch it because that's the best environment to watch.
Well, that's the thing. If you wait 2 weeks, the mid-season finale will be done, and you can just binge watch 9-10 episodes.
Yeah. And we're getting Netflix in Australia very soon, aren't we?
That's it. That's another bit of news. I'm so excited for that. Even though I can get it with proxies and stuff, but I'm excited to be able to get it on Xbox or something so I can use my TV.
Exactly, and just it's the tangibility of this is now available to everyone here, so it's yeah.
Yeah, and I won't have to hypothetically pirate shit.
Yes, hypothetically. I hypothetically pirate whatever I can't get my hands on, but hypothetically... Exactly. It's all imaginary.
If it was here, I would pay for it.
Exactly.
But yes, moving on. Our kind of topic thing for this week, originally, I wanted to do, our favorite superhero comic book video games, but... Literally anyone I've ever mentioned this podcast to that I've been like, hey, if you're interested, you could be on sometime. Every single one has been like, hey, if you do a video game episode, I'll be on for that. So I was like, I'll just wait so I can organize a big group of people and we can do a massive round table, multi-episode crossover crazy episode for that one. Because I know it'll be a lot to talk about then. And if we wait a little bit, we can do it after Arkham Knight comes out so we can all geek out on that.
Exactly. And spoiler alert, it's Superman 64. The best.
Yes.
Exactly, the best one.
No. The best one is... what was it? Don't worry, I was going to make a joke, but I can't think of the game. That's embarrassing.
No, it was Deadpool, but it was taken away from the store availability, so you can't say it.
Yeah, true. All right, so yeah, what we are going to do is we're going to talk about both of our top 5 comic book movies.
Exactly.
Kind of a general thing here. We had thought whether we're going to include, all the crazy, Sin City, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of said we can, but
we'll leave this. We'll do a general one this time, and then we'll zone in. We'll zone in later on down the track.
Go more specific.
Exactly, and for the sake of this one, we're going to both guess what the other person's number one is on Twitter. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out, you can't listen in real time because that'd be too crazy.
That would be crazy.
I'm going to confirm my vote now you can go to @AgentsOfValley on Twitter to follow me. So I'm tweeting it now.
Yeah, and I'm Nightwing 5054, and I will be doing one. I've actually got to think about it. I can't really think of what it will be. But
get to read on me. I've closed Twitter, so I cannot see it.
I could do the jokiest one ever, but I'm not gonna. I was gonna say Green Lantern.
What? I'm kidding.
Oh, how'd you know?
So I'm gonna just change my top.
I'm just gonna go with a really obvious one that I kind of hope isn't your top pick, but 1 second. Tweets. There we go. All right, so who wants to start? Do you want me to start or what?
I believe you're the host, and I believe you should take the first.
Okay,
number 5.
Well, for me, it was really hard to pick because I made the list and then remembered a bunch of movies, so I moved a lot down. And this is one of the ones that was higher up on the list, but then went all the way down. And I'm actually surprised it's there because I usually think of it as one of my favorite movies. But my number 5 is The Avengers.
Oh shit!
Yeah. When that movie came out, that's the thing. It's one of those big movies for me.
I'm gonna have to jump in and say,
was that yours too?
Yes, it was 5 for me.
I really hope our list is exactly the same. That would be so funny.
Fuck. We have not confirmed our lists previous to this. This is exactly.
I wanted it to be a surprise because I wanted this to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. Avengers was, I think, originally 3. But it got pushed down so much.
I think it was second on my list originally, and then it went all the way down. But yeah, this is the big one for me. This is what made me want to full on get into comics. This is what made me love everything. Just because the idea, as you know, it's the first major team up movie that we've had ever, and I remember seeing it multiple times and just loving every second of it.
And I think Avengers, this movie has given us the ability to bring out smaller titles into the series, and it's given some credibility to characters in general. It's really legitimized comics.
Yeah, well, I think it made previous to Marvel's movies in general. Really, every superhero movie that was out there was basically they really focused on. It sounds kind of weird, but they focused a lot on the story, which of course you do. But the Avengers was one of those ones where they really focus on the characters that much, and of course that's Joss Whedon. That's what he does. But he just did such a great job.
Yeah, I believe the Avengers is one of those movies that it's a proper. When you get into the guts of it, it is extremely solid, and the reason why it's at number 5, it's because it was so big at the time, and it's just it's the building blocks that other films will build onto. We have to have a solid base.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a very basic movie. It's if you think about it, Loki's the villain, nothing too big. There's a bit of an alien invasion, they stop it. Nothing crazy. Compare that to other movies, and it's fairly it's
stock standard.
It's on a bigger scale than all the other movies, really, but it's nothing crazy. It's not like Green Lantern Parallax coming down and being a big swirly cloud of weirdness. And that's not that was too big for that movie, I feel. Whereas Avengers kind of aimed low with their villains and their stuff, which is good because by aiming low, you're not going to overshoot it, and you're not going to create stupid, crappy movie.
Yeah, a lot of earlier films put too much stuff into it and back-ended it. Back-ended it. It's when you think of a superhero film, that's the one that comes to mind. I think that's exactly what comes to mind.
It's kind of like the blueprint for what these movies need to be now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the standard. It's a standard, and it's a
Yeah.
fantastic film, and that's why it's number 5.
Yep. All right. Well, since we've already got your number 5, obviously you can go with number 4. What was your number 4?
Okay, my number 4 was The Dark Knight.
Ooh,
The Dark. It
that's
felt.
that's on my list. I'll tell you that.
All right, fair enough. Well, it fell a bit,
Yeah.
but it's above Avengers because I feel like Heath Ledger's performance. Like there's so many people who've said so much about it. It's like it's amazing,
Yeah.
and I believe it's the best portrayal of a manic character in a series that is given like legitimate,
Yeah.
acting credibility to it. So it's not just like, oh, I'm crazy, crazy sake.
Yeah, like
This is a solid character.
And like as the Joker, there has been other good Jokers, obviously, but
Oh, yeah,
it's I don't know, it's a completely different take on it, and it worked so well.
Oh yeah,
Like, it was like familiar enough, but also different enough that like you knew, oh, this is the Joker. Like there's no part of you thinking like, oh, that's not the Joker.
yeah.
But then at the same time, you're like, holy shit, this is the Joker.
And it ushered in that kind of more grittiness to movies these days, and that might not be a good thing. If
Yeah.
I'm going to be brutally honest, it's the whole like, oh, gritty, but The Dark Knight captured it because it is like that. The city felt alive in that movie. It didn't
Yeah.
felt like just a set. It
Yeah.
felt like
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't a set, and that's the problem that previous Batman movies have had. Really, like they always did it like on a set in a big, weird-looking Gotham. You know?
yeah. It was like the Tim Burton one felt like too many like places. It was like fighting in a fighting game. It was like, oh, here's that set. Here's
It's
that
like
set.
it's everywhere's a different stage.
Exactly. And but The Dark Knight, I think the Batman character really came out into that
Yeah.
full extent, and it's as much as people dislike what's happened to the entire series. It's kind of gone too much Dark Knight. I think Dark Knight should not be blamed for it. It's a curse by its own popularity.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the thing. Like it's funny. Like when Dark Knight came out, I'm pretty sure I didn't even know that Batman Begins had come out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Drew. That's
That
bad.
that movie, like Batman Begins, had no publicity.
Yeah,
Like,
in Australia there was nothing.
or at least nothing that we as we would have been kids then, but like nothing that we saw. Like I remember my dad being like, "Hey, this movie came out on DVD. It's Batman." I'm like, "What?" And then next thing you know, The Dark Knight's coming out, and I'm like, "Holy crap!" And like I was last episode when I was talking to Dougie about it, I basically said, "Yeah, like The Dark Knight is the movie that got me into it as well. Like the same as the Avengers, it got me into that the idea of these characters and whatever." And it's just weird. Like,
Yeah, it's honestly as much as Avengers did for the good side, like the whole like chipper. This is what heroes are. I think Dark Knight did what the fact that like comic book movies can have weight to them. This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
A scenario where it's like, oh, it's like just fake like edginess. This is a film that felt like the grit of Gotham. It felt there was no scenario where there's actually no bit of film in that movie was wasted. If you watch that from start to end, there's not a scene wasted. It's yeah.
And also, I'll one thing I'll say about Dark Knight actually is, I would have happily watched an extra hour. Like if they,
I definitely
if they had fleshed out the whole Two-Face part of things, if that whole part had been even another movie, I would have watched that. Like, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's too long. Like, I don't know.
It's a fantastic standalone film.
Yeah.
Had you just put like 30 minutes to Scarecrow and 30 minutes to Two-Face, you would have had that's two movies in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and like I said, I hardly even noticed that Batman Begins came out, and that's a really good movie. Honestly, that would probably be in my top 10.
Yeah, definitely.
But in saying that, you can watch The Dark Knight without seeing the previous one, and
it's fantastic.
That has a lot to do with the fact that, like, obviously everyone knows who Batman is. You know, they don't have to do the origin every time, even though they still do.
Yeah.
But you can watch that movie on its own, and like, honestly, if The Dark Knight Rises never happened, I would have been fine with it. Honestly, not the best movie anyway.
Yeah, I can honestly say yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I don't know.
It felt like it was just.
It's like it's not very Batman.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it. But I would say Dark Knight's music, Zimmerman did George Zimmerman
Amazing.
did fancy. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely, the music in that is crazy.
Exactly. All right, that's my number 4, and let's switch over to Mr. J's.
All right, my my number 4 is X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Wow.
Which
Yeah.
is really like if you'd asked me a year ago whether an X-Men movie would be in my top 5, I would say fuck no.
Days of Future Past actually was number 6. So
Really?
that's where it set on me. It was like,
Yeah.
I unfortunately just got bumped out by
Yeah.
a certain selection.
But
Days
yeah,
of Future-
Days of Future Past is definitely high up there on me because it restored my faith in the X-Men movies.
Oh yeah.
Like I've said before, I still haven't watched the Wolverine the whole way through, and I don't think I will.
Yeah,
which is
like
ridiculous because I'm like a Wolverine fan, but I just can't watch it.
I think it's like Wolverine burnout. Honestly, he's been every X-Men.
He's been in
film.
every X-Men one, yeah, and that's like 7, 8. I don't even know. Been a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I think it's just like Wolverine's good in the scenarios where he's used well. If he's
Yeah.
just not there for the sake of like, oh, here's Wolverine, push him out.
Although
Yeah.
I did like the one scene he had in First Class. That was kind of
Oh yeah.
funny.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, at the bar.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. Like I said, it restored my faith in the X-Men franchise for the movies. Yeah, just for the possibilities that come out of it, as well as I really like the way they did it, adapting it from the comic. And really, it's the first time we've had a movie that was directly adapted from a comic book in any of these kind of movies. Really, like
Yeah, exact storyline.
yeah, although they did change characters around and whatever, but they basically use the same idea, like the same major ideas, which doesn't happen very often with comic book movies. But it was a necessary step too, because now it's setting up for all these other awesome movies that we never would have got.
Exactly. It's like Days of Future Past is when you think of like single line stories. Sorry, single story within comics.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past is pretty much like number 1, number 2 in that scenario, and it's very solid. Even though they changed like different characters, but I think at the heart of it was just a film that made sense about everything. If you read Days of Future Past, and if you didn't, it didn't matter. It was a solid film on both sides.
Yeah. There are things that just don't make sense, like why does Kitty Pryde suddenly have this ability to send people back in time?
Yeah.
Like they could have easily. Like I understand that, like they put her in that position because in the comic she's the one that goes back in time, and then in this they had to make it so Wolverine does. And I understand why they made it Wolverine, because he's the only one that was around in both those times and looked the same. Like,
Very much so.
and like with the age that they've got Kitty Pryde at in that, if you send her back, she would be sperm.
Yeah,
Like,
a fetus.
yes, it's not going to work. So, I understand why they did it, and it makes sense. It works good for a movie because you can send Wolverine back because he'll look exactly the same. But I understand that because of all that, that's why they gave her the powers to do it instead of just letting Professor X do it himself, which would have made so much sense. But I
think they really wanted to have those two fight out side by side.
Yeah.
And that's why it streamlined it, and it was like sometimes a bit choppy, but yeah.
I was thinking about it earlier though, yesterday actually. I was thinking it's kind of like the end credit scene where you see that the future's been changed and all that kind of stuff. It's a good scene because you're like, fuck yeah, it's fixed everything. But then I was thinking it's kind of lame because now, like with Apocalypse coming, which is set before that scene, like it's set in the 80s or whatever, everything's going to be all right. Like there's no possible chance of them getting beaten, which of course there isn't. It's a movie, they're always going to win, but it just, I don't know, it just kind of ruins that for me.
Well, I think the final scene is like when you play a video game and you get 100%, and that's the good ending.
Yeah, that's
much
like the good ending on Dishonored. Like, you haven't killed everyone.
Yeah, everyone's happy. I'm like, okay, this works.
Yeah.
But it's like
not blowing up the bomb on Fallout 3.
Yeah, exactly. Ting. Yeah. Tenpenny Tower, man. It's a Tenpenny Tower scenario, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, so we're up to number 3 for you.
Number 3, and I have to say, 1, 2, and 3 are the most the hard decisions I've ever made.
which is the exact opposite of me because they were the easiest decisions I've ever made.
My God, I have to say this. I've been a personal favorite. Sorry, the director of this film is I'm a rabid fan of his.
Yep.
And it cuts me so deep. Cuts me so deep to put him at number 3. But it's a competition of like I couldn't fight it out any further. So
Yep.
my number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yep. Good movie. I understand that 100%. Unfortunately, not on my list because I didn't really think of it. But
That's right. I'm a massive Edgar Wright fan. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. I've gone so far as to purchase a it was a 4-pack DVD from Walmart to Australia just to get the Tarantino commentary and all the other commentaries. Like,
that's crazy.
and it was like documentaries and stuff. It's like I'm a rabid fan.
Yeah.
But Sky Pilgrim goes at 3 because I love it so much, but it cannot fight out the first 2.
Yeah. I
So
understand that.
But let's talk about Sky Pilgrim. It's a graphic novel.
Yeah.
But at the heart of it, it's very much for our generation. It's a very much our generation comic book. Well, it's
definitely.
that bleeding edge between our general age range.
Yeah, definitely.
It's that retro edge without being too much like, oh look.
Yeah, it's
like,
not over the top. It's not. I don't know. It's
I think
hard to explain.
the perfect thing to say is the dial-up tone. The dial-up tone
Yeah.
makes that film. It encapsulates what it is. It's like it's that movement of time,
Yeah.
and it captures what we are.
It's got like nostalgia to it, despite the fact that it's not a really old story. You know.
Yeah. It's evergreen in that sense. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
every character in that movie is solid. Is absolute solid.
Yeah, it's definitely a very well cast movie too.
And there's no like everyone, even Jason Schwartzman, who plays Gideon, like the amount of time he was on screen is kind of small in comparison, but you feel that hatred burning through him. It's like,
Yeah.
it's hard to explain, but it's
Yeah, that movie definitely shows just how good Edgar Wright is at what he does. Like
the cinematography is like
yeah,
amazing.
it's so well done.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard.
Every
to explain.
frame is never wasted in that film. Like
Yeah.
every single shot like speaks to it. Like you see a lot of films like they're kind of lazy, like oh they're doing a traveling shot, yeah.
He's very
Scott
creative,
Oh yeah, it's
which you had
something-
to be with that kind of movie. Like it's
Exactly. The movie is intangible in the kind of sense. It's more of a like kind of it builds an atmosphere. It builds a world.
yeah,
And-
exactly, and it really builds on the book. Like it just with all the visual effects and whatever, just the way it's done, really like kind of echoes from the book. Like it makes it I don't know. It's if I had read the book before I'd watched the movie, which I didn't, but if I'd done that, I would have read it and been like, how the hell are they going to turn this into a movie?
Yeah, that's what I have for a lot of my friends who like did the reverse. It only takes somebody like Edgar Wright he's done like the cultiest of culty films.
Yeah, and that's what it needed to like. It needed to be a cult film. Like, there's no way it would be a huge blockbuster or anything.
Oh yeah.
But like, and I think obviously he knew that making it. Like, he knew exactly what it was going to be, and he made it that.
And the most unfortunate thing, the movie R.I.P.D. made more money than Scott. Like,
And that movie, I haven't even seen that, but that looks horrible.
that just looks like Men in Black. Oh look, we're dead now. LOL.
Yeah, like it. Well, it's the same kind of idea, but it's. Oh god! I remember seeing the ad, like the preview for that, the trailer, and I was just like, nah.
I think everyone did that. It was like a continuous like.
Yeah, like if I was them and I had made, if I had made that movie and got to the point where they made the trailer, I would have watched it and be like, oh crap, what the fuck have we done?
Oh fuck! What have we filmed?
I know, right? Like, oh god, how did we do this?
Yeah, that's my number 3. That's my number 3. So, yeah, Scott Pilgrim, watch it and you'll get what it was all about. It's hard to put it in words, honestly. I think it's hard to put it in words, but yeah,
that's the thing. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Like, it honestly took me a while after it came out for me to actually watch it because I was like, but But then after watching it, I'm like, holy crap.
It's that's understandable. A lot of people have that same feel because everyone's heard about Scott Pilgrim like slightly, like just like off the side, opposed to like Watchmen's the most like known graphic novel, where it's like Scott Pilgrim's the like kind of the fifth one that no one's really talking about. But yeah, that's my number 3. But yeah, let's chuck it over to Jordan's.
Well, it's going to be pretty quick here because we've already mentioned my number 3, and that is The Dark Knight.
There we go.
And like pretty much everything I said, the reason it's there is just because it was that one. That was that one for me that kind of gave me that darker side of the comics and stuff. Yeah.
Not
much else we can say there, but yeah, you can move on to your next one.
No, actually, no. You do your number 2.
All right. Well, my number 2 then is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, my good friend.
Did we both match up there?
We are twinsies.
Yes.
Mine is Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm actually starting to think we've got the same top 2, but
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Oh, if we do, this is going to be freaking mental.
It will be. But...
I'm incorrect. I'm incorrect because my guess for yours was Scott Pilgrim.
All right. Well, there you go.
Right, so I'm invited. So let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. So Guardians of the Galaxy, what a movie, right? Oh my god.
It's the sensibility that made space feel real.
Yeah,
like see, like every other iteration of space is like so clean, or like, oh look, Guardians of the Galaxy takes the heart and soul of Blade Runner and the machinery of Star Trek and mashes it together and made a world out of it.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain. Like like you said, any space movie or whatever seems really, really dark. Like really dark, and then you see Guardians of the Galaxy, and like everything's bright. And James Gunn said that was the first thing he did when he started working on the movie. He made a book, like I think it was like 18 pages of just, he called it The Colors of Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was just pretty much pointing out everywhere that there needs to be color, and like it goes from everywhere. Like all the spaceships have colors on them. When you go to a planet, it's all bright and all like light and shit instead of being all dark and dusty like it usually is in like Star Wars and stuff. Like I think he took a lot from like the prequels from Star Wars, with all the colors and stuff. Which, looking back on it now, I didn't even think of back then. But like that, the prequels are a lot brighter than the originals.
They're much more vibrant than anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy is just so like it's weird. Like. I
think it's a good type of weird. I think Guardians of the Galaxy gives it's like that breath of fresh air when you think of like superhero films. Guardians of the Galaxy kind of sits there and it's like this comic book that like 3 years ago didn't really exist in them like in any like real context.
Yeah, like it existed, but it was a very niche thing.
Yeah, it's super niche, like something like completely off even our radar.
Yeah.
But I think Guardians of the Galaxy shows that it's that comic edge that you need back to comics.
Yeah, it basically shows that we can like that these are good stories. Like it's proving that we can pretty much like all these people that have written these comic books for years and years and years have good stories, and they're not like in the old days. Comic book writers were second-rate trash to movie people, but then these days they're looking for them because of the movies like this.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, comics can be funny.
Yeah,
it gives it that edge. It's like a lot of things that's like super dark and stuff. It's like like realism. Like this is just like let's have some fun.
That's the thing. Like it's basically a comedy.
And, totally.
And it's funny to think that this movie like fits into the same world as the Avengers and all this stuff. Which like watching it, I believe that. Like I believe it's in that, but at the same time, you're like, it's crazy because like this guy just beat a guy by dancing at him.
Oh yeah, that
like really, that should not have worked. Like there is no like on paper that is the worst idea ever. Like imagine that. It's like, and then Star-Lord starts dancing and singing and challenges Ronan to a dance off, and then
that's the power.
Like they're reading that and they're like, fuck off.
That's the true power of Chris Pratt.
Yeah, like that's why like they couldn't have cast anyone else for that role and still got away with that. Like they were so spot on to have Chris Pratt do that. Otherwise, they would have had to change it, and like they could have, like because it wasn't like all it was, yeah, it's a distraction. They could have just said, "Hey, they don't need a distraction. They're just going to shoot him with this gun," you know.
Yeah.
And like it just made so much. I don't know. It just worked really well.
I have to say, there's two cameos that I personally loved at the end of it. Peter Serafinowicz, who plays the one of the guards with the black hair and it's kind of quiffy. He's kind of an Edgarite member of that group.
Yeah.
I love him a bit. He's absolutely funny. And the second one that I think even I in the theater was freaked out, Howard the fucking Duck.
Yeah, I know, right? Did you hear he's getting his own like comic book series?
Oh, yes.
I thought you'd be interested in that.
I saw that when you posted that to me. I was like, I love it. Howard the Duck. There's a whole story. We'll get into that in another episode.
Yeah,
I will devote
we'll
an
talk
episode.
about the heist.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll be an entire episode of just like Howard the Duck and me like, blah, about it. But yeah,
let's do that.
Guardians of the Galaxy is, as much as Scott Pilgrim is nostalgia for that video game era,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy is nostalgic for that kind of like that feeling of like it's just like the power that comes through. It's a happy movie.
It's
a happy movie.
It's funny because like the music and stuff is all 80s and stuff, but it really feels almost like a 90s movie to me.
Oh, definitely.
Like it reminds me, it gives me the same feeling as like the Power Rangers movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it has something to do with the music. Like it's just
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, like it's got that like late 80s, early 90s type music, and it just makes me happy.
Oh, speaking of cameos, Lloyd Kaufman, who gave James Gunn his first film in the Troma Company, actually appears in the movie. I was like, I even say, that's Lloyd Kaufman. What the frick is he doing here?
Well, there's so many cameos. Like I can't even think of them all. Like
Nathan Fillion.
What's his name? Abed from Community.
Oh yes.
Oh no, that's the wrong movie. What am I talking about?
That's Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that's Winter Soldier.
What am I talking about? That's another one that I'm surprised I didn't put on my list, to be honest.
That was unfortunately the one that fell off.
Yeah, that'd be number 6 for me, actually. But yeah, and what else was there? There was something else. But
Nathan Fillion appears as when Groot is doing the whole swinging that alley, and he's a voice, I believe.
Yeah, he's the voice, and I'm pretty sure he was well, I don't know if he did the capture for it, but either way, it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
And I'll admit, biggest surprise for that movie. Like people always saying, "Oh, Batista was awesome," and like he's the standout one.
Batista.
But my thing was John C. Reilly.
Yeah, John C. He brought an emotional performance as well in a comic film.
Yeah, really good.
If I can gush on Batista for a second.
Oh yeah,
being the wrestling dude in the room. Dave Batista. I've heard through like the podcast systems. As soon as he got it, he freaked out like a little girl. He loves that character.
Yeah.
And I think
he's a perfect fit for it too.
Oh, he's perfect. Like as much as Chris Pratt fits for Star-Lord, Dave fits for what's his name? Oh my god, I'm blanking. Drax. As much, he has that sensibility of like that dude can't take a joke, and he literally cannot.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, oh,
really
he's
good.
amazing. And the legitimacy of bringing a favorite of mine, Rocket Raccoon, to life.
Yeah.
And making him like, you know what? You guys like Rocket Raccoon? Who's he? A couple years later, hey, you guys like Rocket Raccoon? Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't know. I think it's just the fact that they were such niche characters and stuff, and the fact that now they're like, who would have thought last year that Groot would be everyone's favorite character?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm so happy that with that it's bringing new life into comics. Like it's showing people like there are some hidden gems, and you should guys investigate and have a look.
Yeah, exactly. And also back onto actors and stuff. Like they've got all these newer guys like Batista and all those kind of things. But then like I don't know, it's just such a good cast. Like Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, and then John C. Reilly, even like Benicio del Toro. Was it like Glenn Close?
Mm-hmm.
Such random people to get.
And they're so like intrinsically a part of that story now. Like, Benicio is he's been in
it. He'll be in more movies.
Oh yeah, that's only good news for me, frankly.
Yeah, like it's this. I don't know. It's just so good.
Yeah, I think even Zoe, who did Gamora, I think that's such a positive character. Like a lot of people don't expect. Like people rag on the comics books industry of being sexist, but Gamora is just a character by itself, so powerful. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So Zoe,
Most
Zoe
dangerous
Dal-
woman in the universe.
exactly. Zoe Saldana did. She, as much as people think like powerful women is like Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Power Girl, like that kind of thing, is that kind of traditional style.
Yeah.
Gamora is that more like, I think, more gaming influenced character. Like she's
Yeah.
more like self.
She is a strong female character.
Exactly. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's why it's number 2 for both of us.
Yeah, both of us. So you can go on to your number 1 then.
Actually, before we go there, let's do some honorable mentions.
Yeah, good point.
Exactly. So this is a time where you make your own personal guess on what our number 1 is. If it's both our number 1, I'm going to be personally freaked out.
Yeah, me too.
Honorable mentions wasn't on the top 10, but I personally have a small soft spot for the Ang Lee Hulk movies.
Yeah, I was tempted to put that on actually.
I don't know what it is. Like, a lot of people hate it for, I believe, the ending, but I was like, I feel like it's got a lot more heart to the other Hulk films, or the other ones
it's a different kind of film, really. Like,
exactly.
I really like. I haven't seen it in a long time, but like the whole where they do like the split screens to make it look like comic book panels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just little things about that movie really are quite cool, and like, yeah, I don't know. It was a good movie. At the time, it was a fairly good movie. But yeah, I don't know. It's not the usual. I think the thing is that it's not the usual like superhero movie formula.
Yeah. It became it was very obtuse at points. It was like very like abstract at like various summer points. But
yeah, exactly.
I think a revisit might change your opinion, but I think for the time being, my nostalgia is like telling me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I probably shouldn't watch it because it'll ruin it for me.
Yeah. What's an honorable mention for you?
Well, pretty much one that was just like edging its way into my top 5 and originally was number 5 is Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
And I'm going to say both of them. I know a lot of people don't like the second one. I really enjoyed it. I could have watched an extra hour on it, to be honest.
I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from.
I just like the more, I was going to say more faithful approach to Spider-Man, but just a more, I was going to say realistic too, but it's not.
It's more comic sensibility.
It's more closer to the comics than, it's closer to the comics than what the previous 3 were. And they, after the first one, I was really, really excited for the second one. And the second one didn't live up to the expectations, but I still did enjoy it a lot.
I was going to say that's one of my honorable mentions, Spider-Man 2. I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. I feel Spider-Man 2 encapsulates what that was. A lot of people don't like Tobey Maguire. I like him for what it was.
Yeah, he was okay.
But that's only my personal goofy opinion.
Yeah, like in saying that, Spider-Man 1 was. I remember going to see that at the movies. I was in Melbourne with my sister because she was living there. Spent the weekend with her. We went and saw Spider-Man when it came out. And I remember as a kid, like just walking down next to the Yarrow from Crown towards the train station, and just like I was in that, you know when you're a kid and you watch say you watch Spider-Man and you just want to be Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So I was like jumping on shit and jumping around and all this shit, and she was getting all embarrassed and all this stuff. And it's just one of those memories in my head that I have. So I've always got a soft spot for that movie.
Exactly, and another we'll reminisce a little bit further, but my last honorable mention has to go to Punisher. I know people hate Punisher.
I haven't seen that in a long time, but I do want to watch that again.
I believe I don't know what it was the one that the Punisher that involved. There was also the actor who did his name's Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane, he encapsulates the Punisher so well.
He is the perfect guy for it. Like, yeah, if I'm sure if they use him again, they're obviously gonna recast. But he is like, if I'm reading the books, he's the guy in my head.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like he just looks the part.
And going in full circle, I would like to see CM Punk write a Punisher comic.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Exactly. All right, so we
one more thing in the same vein as Punisher, Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah,
I like Nicolas Cage, so it's hilarious. But it was on TV like a couple of weeks ago, and I watched like the first half of it, and I was watching it, and I like in my head I was like, this movie sucks, but when I was watching it, I'm like, this is actually kind of good.
Oh yeah, it's Nick Cage is the only person who could sell that kind of like craziness.
Yeah, like it's a bit out there for. I think the reason that obviously didn't do well, good enough to do a sequel, I guess. But it's I don't know. It's just Ghost Rider is an interesting character to do. Like I can't imagine them doing it with the new Marvel universe, like the new Marvel thing. But I don't know.
Yeah. All right, I think we've got enough time to build up, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check your piece of paper or whatever you've tweeted. Ladies and gentlemen, my number one, hopefully if it's not Twinsies, because Twinsies is going to be freaking nuts.
I really hope it is.
My number one is a series that you don't really expect. It's a one that I have personally holds close to my heart. My number one is Judge Dredd.
Oh, definitely not the same one.
Oh, thank God.
Are we talking old Judge Dredd or new Judge Dredd?
Dredd. The film is called Dredd, not the Stallone one.
Okay, good. I was gonna say
the Carl Urban one. I feel like I've been a personal follower of Judge Dredd. Like as much as I love Deadpool, Judge Dredd is like a character. It's like it's always been that kind of RoboCop gone nuts.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I remember when I was a kid, I would confuse RoboCop with Judge Dredd. Like
that's no hard task, honestly.
It's a guy with a gun and a helmet. Like they're the same thing on paper. Like
yeah.
But I do like the whole thing with Judge Dredd. Like what's his gun called? The
So somebody's searching the means. I'm trying to search it. But I think Carl Urban.
I'm too far away from a keyboard.
Carl Urban did such an amazing performance in that thing. Like he is a personal fan of Judge Dredd, like myself, and he exclusively said he's not taking off that helmet. And I feel like that shows
that was a good choice too.
Oh,
like I think that would be the problem if he did. It would, it just ruins the character by doing that, and I think that's the problem with the old one.
Exactly, and in my own personal opinion, they brought in another character. I'm blanking on her name. She played Cassandra in the film. I think Olivia Trilby. That's what I'm guessing. It's not like I just googled it. I totally just googled it. I think she was very much a new character, but she was inspired by several other sources.
Yeah.
I feel she fits so well into that series.
Yeah, that's the thing. One thing that does annoy me about a lot of these movies is that when they introduce characters for next to no reason that are just brand new. But in that case, I was absolutely fine with it because it worked.
And the weapon you were thinking of was the Lawgiver.
That's it. I knew it was. In my head, I'm like, the Punisher.
I was gonna say that as well, but that I love guns that are just like chunky and big, just got that bits and pieces that make it real. But continue, man.
It's just Judge Dredd is definitely a cool movie. I need to watch that again. Actually, I haven't watched it in a little while now. But it's such a cool character, really.
Yeah, it brings like an element of ultra violence, but in the sense like I like when films don't like shy away from like the realness of a situation. Like a lot of films,
but it's good when they don't dwell on it as well.
Exactly. Like in this movie, like if you get shot, blood comes out. It gives like realism to it. It's not like
and it's not like you get shot, blood and guts come out, and you die on the ground for 10 minutes. Like it's not. They don't go over the top with it. They don't try and hide it. They just do it like as real as it can be, I guess.
Yeah. It's Dredd, I believe, was inspired by a Japanese film. I believe like called The Tower or something. I might be completely wrong. I might have to do a redux on the last episode if I remember it. But yeah, it's encapsulated. The entire film is encapsulated in one building, but it's done so well. It's almost video game inspired in the whole element.
Yeah.
It's Dredd. You have to watch it. No matter the situation.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely watch it.
Yeah. So what was your guess on what my number one was?
Well, my guess was The Dark Knight, so I was wrong from the start.
That's all right.
But
to encapsulate it, you gotta see Dredd. It's good in every scenario, but watch it with a lot of friends on like Friday night.
Definitely a good movie to watch.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, my favorite. I've said it a million times. It's actually, before I reveal it, it's one of those movies where I didn't actually see it for a long time. I could almost say that I didn't see it until maybe at least 2, maybe even 3 years after it came out. When it came out, the sequel was already... No, when I watched it, the sequel was already out. And it was one of those movies where I honestly don't know why I didn't watch it. I think in my head I'd built up some sort of reason why it was not going to be good. I think in the same way that my girlfriend won't watch Captain America, where she just thinks that it's not good and she hates the character without even knowing it. But my movie is Iron Man.
Yeah, that was that one I couldn't place on the list. Like,
Yeah.
I think
This
yeah,
is always number... Oh, sorry, the microphone went crazy. This is always number one for me. Always.
it's the genesis of it's that heart of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
I think, which almost like kind of like mirrors Robert Downey Jr.'s career. It's like
Yeah, it's-
he used to be like no one likes him, and he was like untouchable. He was toxic.
That's the
Now
thing.
he's leading it.
Yeah,
Now
well,
he's
that's the thing. He's like Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. They're like
the same person.
Yeah, they're very similar. I don't know. The lifestyle that they have is very similar. Like Tony Stark used to be an alcoholic, and Robert Downey Jr. used to be an alcoholic, and it just I don't know what it is, but it just works so well. I don't know. It's just an all-around good movie. Jon Favreau did such a good job.
Oh,
with that.
Fav, did an
Like,
amazing job.
Um,
And is happy as the character happy.
exactly. Which after reading comics and stuff, I'm so glad they included that character.
Oh yeah, I was like,
Um,
I heard previously going into it that Happy wasn't involved. I was like, really? Oh, that's a bit disappointing. But now that Favreau's
Yeah.
taking the helm of that character's like, yeah, what's
Yeah,
up?
that was great. Like, I don't know. Since then, like, I don't know. Favreau is definitely one of my favorite directors because of that movie. He just did so well. Like I said earlier about Joss Whedon, it's very character based. Like, obvious, and I don't know. I think Iron Man's just got such a good, fresh kind of origin. Like, it's not.
Yeah, when actually
don't know.
at that point, the Tony Stark character was kind of seemed like kind of a loser, honestly. If
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, he was kind of like the stagnated. Like, if you read previous to that, people really didn't give a shit about Tony Stark. But
Yeah, exactly.
Iron Man 1 brought so much life. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
as much as Avengers was the standard, Tony's character was the heart and soul.
Well,
It's-
that's the thing. Like, they did that. They started making that movie, and then they came up with the idea for the whole cinematic universe, and then they were like, "Oh, we better go make this Hulk movie now." And then, like, the whole tease at the end about the event, like with Sam Jackson,
oh yeah.
like, it just, I just can't get over that movie. Like, and like I said before, I actually watched it. I don't think I'd ever read anything about Iron Man. I didn't really know who he was, but in my head, I'm like, this guy sucks. And I'm 90% sure it's because of AC/DC, because I'm not an AC/DC fan at all. And
Wow.
the whole idea of the soundtrack being like almost entirely AC/DC was just like, that sucks. That's dumb.
I'm sorry. Could you like give up your Australian citizenship? And
I know. I feel bad because I don't like AC/DC, but all the songs sound the same.
That's all right. Or you'll be sent to Tasmania for deportation.
That's so fine. Just send me
That's
to
all
Canada. I like Canada.
Oh, if I could go to Canada, that's the one place I would like to go.
I know, right? But yeah, Iron Man. I can't even explain it. Like, I even like Iron Man 2 a lot, and I know a lot of people don't like it, and I understand why, because it's pretty much the same movie, just with more robots. But I don't know. It's good, and I don't know. I think it's just the whole thing with Favreau. Like, I really enjoy what he did, and it really sets up. I don't know. There's a lot of good backstory in it, like with all of in the second one with his like when he finds all the crap from his dad and all that kind of stuff and makes the whole new thing and all that crap. It just, I don't know. It's just such a good movie.
Yeah, I think we live in an age of so much like the accessibility of technology, and I think in this year, it was almost a story of like building your own self-worth from what you've created.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I think Tony Stark, no one really cared about him until this movie. Let's be honest. I think it was a very much a flat fish scenario.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. I think when they announced Iron Man and stuff like that, everywhere was like, "Why are they doing this? These characters are crap. Like, why would they do that?" And then as soon as it came out, it just turned everything around for everyone. And it's like, that's the thing. It's the start of the whole Marvel Studios thing. It's just great. And I wish they'd kept Favreau on for to direct the third one, because Shane Black ruined it. But
Yeah. Pretty much, I have to agree on that. I have to say, when it comes down to it, as much as we could talk, the medium of film is the only way you can really get what we're talking about. This is like a pairing situation where you watch the film and you just it's hard to put in words.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's my number one purely because it's just it. Like I've said with a lot of them, it started everything. Like this one did literally start all of this. It started the hype for everything.
The hype train was built on that day.
Yeah, Tony Stark built the hype train.
In a cave.
Yeah, exactly. And then blasted its way out. But yeah, I can't stress enough how much I love this movie. It's great.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that's a great way of putting an old capstone on that. But that's just not the end of the conversation. You guys are involved in that conversation.
Yeah. Well, like I've said before in previous episodes, we do have a Twitter for the show at Comics Now Pod on Twitter. If you follow that, or even if you don't, but you probably should, just let us know what your favorite movies are. Let us know what you think of our favorite movies.
Exactly.
Let me know if you hate Iron Man.
And let me know if you hate Dredd, so I can find you and hurt you. But all I say is, this is still an open conversation, and we'll never have a completed list because there's more movies coming out each year and different.
And multiple.
Exactly.
I can imagine this time next year I will be telling you that Age of Ultron and Ant-Man are my top two.
Oh,
and also that Fantastic Four is my favorite as well.
Exactly. Well, the best way to call this episode is Best Comic Book Movies 2014.
Yeah, as of 2014.
And as of 2014. So maybe next year we'll give an update on what our favorite films are.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Maybe, end of next year. Yeah, that's the thing. It's the end of this year now, even though it is earlier now in our history. But we will, let's just say that now. And this time next year we will do another list, and we will let you know if anything's changed. Hopefully it does, because otherwise it'll be a very boring episode.
Oh, I'll be totally boring.
Okay, guys, so the list hasn't changed. Goodbye.
Catch you guys next time. Bye. Exactly. So thank you so much for checking us out, getting the conversation. We're both on Twitter. We'll both be talking through the Comics Now podcast Twitter account.
Yep.
But yes.
I've been posting a lot of crap on Instagram. At Comics Now Pod on Instagram. I'll just bring that up here so I can tell you some of the things I've been putting on there. Another thing I was going to mention when I was talking about video games earlier, I've been playing Spider-Man Unlimited on my phone. And
how is it?
It's kind of cool. Like, have you ever played Temple Run?
Yes.
It's very similar to Temple Run, but what it is you're running along and you are Spider-Man. Starts off. The story is that apparently, the Sinister Six from a different dimension have, broken through to all these different dimensions, and they're bringing an army to take over the world or some crap. So, pretty generic story, but then you are Spider-Man, you're working for S.H.I.E.L.D., and you're trying to stop it, and you've got your own portal, and you keep bringing Spider-Man from other universes. So you can have all these different Spider-Man type thing.
Excellent.
And
I believe
it's like
I saw you posted for a certain character wearing a bag that a lot of people don't.
I'm looking at that right now. The Bombastic Bag Man.
Exactly.
Which, if people don't know it, it's Peter Parker joins the Fantastic Four after Johnny Storm died, I think. And so he puts on an old Fantastic Four uniform and a bag on his head as a mask. And he doesn't wear that for long because then they turn into Future Foundation. He gets the sweet white suit and stuff. But that was my favorite character on that game for a little while. But where is the? I got to look at some of the photos I've screenshotted of it. But it's really cool. It's like Temple Run. You're just running. There's 3 lanes and you switch between them. I recommend if you're going to play it on a phone rather than a tablet, because I had it on my tablet first, and because when you got to flick left, but you've actually got to hit Spider-Man when you're flicking it, whereas on on the tablet I tried it and I'd just try and do it off to the side and nothing would happen, and you find yourself running into shit and dying. But yeah, it's kind of cool. You build up points, and with those points you buy a recruit, which is when you bring another Spider-Man from another universe. You get random ones, they double up. You can combine them together to level them up. You get
Nice.
experience. It's kind of good, but the problem is there. Say you get the basic recruit or whatever it's called. That costs you, I think it's like 2,500 vials, which is like the basic kind of currency in the game. That's what you collect as you run. Like coins in Mario or something. And then you do that, and you get one. But then they can have like the basic one will have like 3 stars, and you got to upgrade to each star by combining 2 of the same character, like same suit. And by that, it maxes out at like first one, it maxes out at 10, second one 20, 30, and whatever. But then, say if you've got one that's only 3 stars, and then you max it out completely, it can't go any higher. But then there's this other currency called ISO 8, which is like the mineral or something that the Sinister Six are trying to get, and then you use that to get better ones with more stars that can go to higher levels. And
the level cap is raised on that one.
But then you get hardly any of it ever. Like, it costs you 25 to get a basic-ish one. And then it's just bad because it makes you, like, it's a whole microtransaction thing. Like, you'll be like, oh, you have none of this. You can buy some for $3. And I'm like,
That's what I was thinking. A lot of those type of games, there's 2 types of currency. There's in-game earned and currency earned.
Yeah, and like, I'll admit I've probably spent like $15-20 on the stuff to get cool suits and stuff. But I've kind of slowed down on it last day or so that's good. But it's kind of cool. Like, I finished the first issue, as it's called, which is like the first world, I guess. But it's pretty fun. So if you're out there and you want to play it, it's kind of cool. There's like daily challenges on there and stuff like that. Like, I just did a Thanksgiving one where you had to.
Oh yeah.
It was called the
Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Yeah, it's called the Thanksgiving Throwdown. It just ended just before, and apparently, like, you can play it as many times. Or I forgot to mention, you've got like 5 credits to play, and then they slowly rebuild. So you've got to wait around. Like mobile games do that. But you play through these daily challenges, and the Thanksgiving Throwdown. The idea is to get the highest score, and then you win some stuff like that. I got I think it was like top 200, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
But but then you also build up things. Like, there was a mini challenge in it where, like, I think I had to kill a total of 480 enemies, and they just build up. So say you play for one track and you kill 10, and then you do another one and you only kill 1, then it adds up to 11. So you just keep going, and so I ended up doing that.
Cumulative,
Yeah, and you win a recruit from that. That's kind of cool.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's actually a really surprising game. The only downside is, like, I finished the first issue when I was at work. I had my data turned off, and then it's telling me, to play any more, you have to download the next issue. So it's very download heavy. So I suggest Wi-Fi. But it's definitely a really cool game. Check it out. You can see high scores. You can add friends on there and stuff. It's cool. I'll give it that. But that's been that's part of the reason why I've been busy this week. Also, at Target, I posted a picture of it yesterday. At Target, they've got Guardians of the Galaxy hats.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
And then they're kind of gross.
Yeah, I always was like considering, like, I'm gonna run down and go buy one just to shit them.
Yeah, I saw it and I'm like, should I buy this? Nah. Like, if it only had if it just said Guardians of the Galaxy on it, didn't have the crappy picture, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll buy that. But it's pretty cool.
Exactly. Well, follow us on Twitter, on the Instagrams. Keep up to date with us, because we're not keeping up to date as much as we can, but we will. We will.
I was saying to you earlier, I promise after Christmas we'll get into a proper routine. At the moment, it's just really, really frustrating.
That's also, but it's a silly season right now. That's why it's called the silly season, because it's the nuttiness of the holidays coming up. But
and I've got cool stuff lined up, like interviews with people, that kind of stuff. So hopefully, once the year starts, we will have a proper release date every week. And I think the next. I was thinking we should do some other stuff too, like I've been posting these on YouTube. We should do some little complimentary YouTube clips and stuff.
Exactly. I'd be definitely down for doing some stuff. The old vidges.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly. But next year will be the year of comics now.
Oh, yes, it will.
I preclude it.
Definitely. Straight up. But, we've been trying to end this for the last 20 minutes, so let's end it now.
That's all right.
like we were saying, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics Now Pod. Facebook, I think, is facebook.com/Comics Now Pod, but it could be something else. Just search for it. On iTunes, feel free to give a rating. That would be fantastic. It makes us more visible to people looking for cool podcasts. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got to plug. I'm starting to do stuff slowly back on my gaming channel on YouTube. Slowly, I'm getting there.
Plug it!
Yeah, so yeah, just search for Nightwing Gamer. I think it's youtube.com/Nightwing5054, which is the same as my Twitter. Mostly Pokemon stuff on there at the moment, but I'm playing Donkey Kong Country, and there's going to be Super Mario World stuff coming up soon. And then down the track, I'm hoping to be getting a capture card and stuff, so we'll be playing some other cool games. But I'm really into retro games at the moment, so I'll probably be doing that a lot.
Excellent. Well, I've been doing kind of similar. I've been finally getting my schedule back up and into gear, so every Monday and Friday there should be a new video. The current season right now is Tom versus Polsky. That's another friend from the area, and we're having some fun on Gang Beasts. But I'm here to announce exclusively here, ladies and gentlemen, into the silly season, I will be having 12 videos of blank. The blank will be revealed very soon, so you're going to have 12 days of videos. And I think my good friend Jordan might be involved in some part.
Maybe.
Maybe not announcing everything. Gotta keep some stuff secret. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Tom.
And I've been Jordan. So, thanks. And, I don't know how to end this. How do we end this?
I don't know. I usually end it, catch you guys next time, but that's usually my gimmick on my channel.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to say bye. Bye.